Contact forms. Okay, so contact forms can be done a couple different ways on your website. This is the simplest way, and it is a built-in element into the website. So they can take different shapes. We've got a sample subscribe to our newsletter. We've got request for work. So different fields here, different types of fields. So this is a drop down. This is your email and name, and this is a date selector. And then a typical contact form. So we've got a subject, we've got a message block, we've got a little checkbox for terms, and some spam protection there. So some different options. Let's go ahead and get into the back end and we'll edit that. So we'll go down to our contact form. And so the first thing is the email address that we want to put, that we want all of the entries to go to. test@test.com, and the name of the form itself, send us a mail, and now we've got our different elements here. So name, email, subject, message, name, email, subject, message. This here is our checkbox I have read, and I'll get into those in just a second. Now down here we've got our submit button label, which is right here. And what happens once the form is sent away? So what happens? Does it go to another page? Perhaps you can build a landing page that asks your users to do certain things or gives them access to certain things. Or do you want just a short message to pop up? And if you just want the short message, we can type in that message here. The email subject is the subject of the email that will come to you, or when you're notified when somebody fills out the form. So what would you like the subject to be? And that'll be easy for you to recognize that it's a submission from your form. The auto respond text is the text that will be sent to the user. It was sent to their user email address that they inputted into the system. Of course, the email field needs to be a part of the capture form if that's going to work. Do you want CAPTCHA, which is this stuff right here? It really helps with spam protection. I would recommend it. Hiding form labels. So you can see the labels are up above the field areas there. If you check that, they will move within the field boxes, which I think saves some space and might be a little better. But and then our alignment for the button. So do we want it in the middle or do we want it over on the left? Pretty easy stuff. Obviously we can change our colors. There's a few preset settings there. And if we go into each of our fields, there are some different field types that I want to show you and some orientations. So of course this is the label, and these are the field types that are available. So we've got a text input, which would be just something like this, like just a bar with some text. A text area is a larger area where you might expect somebody to write a little more content. A select element, so that would be a drop-down menu, kind of like this. And those are easy. So we've got the select element, and now we've got to let them know what their options are. So these are just comma separated options. Can you see? Example option 1, 2, 3. Really easy, just make them comma separated and each one will become a different option in the drop-down menu. If you want to allow multiple answers, so in this case, perhaps you just want them to select one of these four, or perhaps you want to allow them to select all of them or two of them or whatever. Different options there. So do we want to validate? So the validation is it'll cross-check to make sure that what people are putting into the contact form is legitimate in some way. So is not empty, that means it's a mandatory field. Is an email address, a phone number, or is just a number, it's numeric. And then the form element width. How far across the page would you like it to extend? So if you have a bunch of full width elements, they will just stack on each other. But if you have a bunch of half width or third widths, they will occupy just, so these are both half widths. And obviously whatever box this form is in, it will respond accordingly. So these are half widths, and this would be a full width. So that allows you to configure the appearance there. So other elements, we've got our email. Let's see, which is a text input, and it's just validated that we want an email address. We want to make sure people actually put in their email address. Checkboxes, which would be this sort of thing here. So if you want somebody to agree to your terms or check off something yes or no, that sort of thing is very helpful. A date picker, I showed you that one before, which would be something like this. And they can cruise around, hit whatever years, and set a date for some reason. And custom HTML. So you can write in a description. So this would be just a body of text that would appear in your form somewhere. So if you want to describe what they should be writing about, or you want to write a little bit more than what is provided for you in just a field label, you can use HTML and just write a little paragraph if you want to. So that is how we build our forms. Very easy, very simple. We've got some global configurations, and then each of our elements, we configure them into half width, full width, and different options there, depending on how much space you want to allow for people to type in. And oh, by the way, the entire form will be mobile responsive. So when this compresses into a mobile environment, these fields react accordingly, and it'll be very small screen, finger friendly, and works very well. So that is our form element.